Pluto through the houses, first house to the sixth house. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another edition of my series. So in this video, we're going to be discussing Pluto through the houses from the first house to the sixth house. I'm going to be giving you my explanation and my interpretation of each placement. Make sure you stick around all the way to the end because I'm going to be giving you good information and breaking each one down. All right, let's get into it. Pluto in the first house. So Pluto represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. Okay, so when we think about Pluto, the energy of Pluto and everything that Pluto represents all things involving power, like powerful people wielding power, having power, being powerful in some way, transformation, things that are chaotic, things that have to do with being regenerated and destroying to rebuild. The first house represents our image, body, appearance, and attitude towards life. Okay, so that's what the first house represents: our image, body, appearance, and attitude towards life. With this placement, you are a powerful person, literally. You must learn to wield and harness power. Okay, so this is very important. When people have Pluto in the first house, you are literally a powerful person, whether you know it or not. You have the ability to be a powerful person. You have to learn how to tap into your own personal power and wield and harness power in your own personal way. Okay, so this is very important. Pluto in the first house people are literally powerful people, even if they don't seem like it or even if they don't notice it themselves. People have strong reactions to you. Okay, when you have Pluto in the first house, you tend to notice that people have very strong reactions to you. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Aries because Aries rules the first house. So if you have this placement, you want to make sure you study natal Pluto and Aries descriptions as well. It's as if people love you or hate you. Okay, so this goes back to what I said before as far as like people having strong reactions to you. When you have Pluto in the first house, it's as if people love you or hate you. They just have very strong reactions to you because that's the energy of Pluto, which is also associated with Scorpio. Just that strong energy and that strong reactions that people have. It's either they like you or they can't stand you. You go through significant transformations of the self and attitude towards life. Okay, so when people have displacement, Pluto in the first house, they go through major transformations of themselves. Literally, they transform themselves, their body, their image, their appearance, and they go through transformations as far as their attitude towards life. One minute they think a certain way and this is their attitude towards life, and then they'll go through a major transformation and their attitude towards life will completely change. Pluto in the second house. Let's discuss Pluto in the second house. So again, Pluto represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos, regeneration, and destruction to rebuild. This is what Pluto represents. This is the energy of Pluto. All things involving power, transformation, chaos, and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. The second house represents the money we make and keep on our own and our self-esteem and values. Okay, so this is the second house. The second house is money that we make and keep on our own. It doesn't involve other people like the eighth house. The second house is all of our money that we make on our own. It only involves us. And the second house has to do with our self-esteem and values. With this placement, you go through significant transformations involving your self-esteem, values, and finances. I'm actually going through this transit right now, so I'm feeling the major transformations as far as my self-esteem, values, and finances. Okay, so this is very important. When you have this placement, you're going to go through major transformations involving your self-esteem, values, and finances. And you go through the process of destruction to rebuild. So what you might notice is that you go through certain things that maybe destroy your self-esteem. They destroy your values and, your finances get destroyed, but you go through the rebuilding process. Okay, so that's what you experience when you have Pluto in the second house is you go through these destruction to rebuild transformation processes as it relates to the second house, which has to do with your self-esteem, values, and finances. Through wielding power and being in a position of power is a way for you to make money. Okay, again, the second house is a money house. It's the house that has to do with money we make and keep on our own, and it doesn't involve other people. When you have this placement, when you put yourself in a position of power and being a powerful person and you wield power, that's a way for you to make money. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Taurus because Taurus rules the second house. Very important. If you have this placement, make sure you study natal Pluto in Taurus because you will find that that information resonates with you and it sounds like you because Taurus rules the second house. This is the placement of someone that has the power to make a lot of money and be powerful as a result of their wealth. This is very important, okay? So this is the placement of someone who has the power to really make a lot of money and be a powerful, wealthy person and be known as a powerful, wealthy person. Pluto in the third house. Let's discuss Pluto in the third. Again, Pluto represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. This is what Pluto represents. The third house represents local environment, lower education, our lower mind, language, trades, certifications, and siblings and cousins. Okay, so these are all the things that are related to the third house. The third house has to do with our local environment, meaning like our neighborhood that we grew up in, all things involving lower education, such as kindergarten through 12th grade, our lower mind, language, trades, certification, siblings, and cousins. With this placement, you have a very powerful mind, okay? Very important. Whatever Pluto touches, it adds an element of power to those matters. And the third house has to do with our mind, our lower mind specifically, not our higher mind, which is the ninth house, our lower mind. So with this placement, you have a very powerful mind, whether you know it or not, or whether you even tap into, your power. You may experience major transformations as far as matters involving learning, communicating, teaching, and your ability to learn, communicate, and teach. Okay. So whatever Pluto touches, you go through major transformations as far as those matters. And the third house has to do with matters involving learning, communication, and teaching. And our ability to learn, communicate, and teach. So when you have this, you experience major transformations as far as those third house matters. And that can manifest in many different ways. It all depends on each individual and each individual chart. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Gemini because Gemini rules the third house. So if you have displacement, you want to make sure you study natal Pluto and Gemini descriptions as well, because you will find that information resonates with you and it sounds like you. You can be a powerful communicator and powerful educator. This is very important. When you have Pluto in the third house, you have the ability to be a very powerful communicator and a powerful educator. You just have to tap into that power. This indicates transformations and chaos experienced involving the siblings as well. Okay, so this is something that you have to look out for as well. Matters that transform you, matters that feel chaotic, chaotic transformative experiences as it relates to the siblings and cousins as well. This can manifest in many different ways. Your local environment and the neighborhood you grew up in transformed you in some way. All right. When you have Pluto in the third house, your local environment and the neighborhood you grew up in transformed you in some way. Pluto in the fourth house. Let's discuss Pluto in the fourth house. Again, Pluto represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos, and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. The fourth house represents home, our inner world, family, and domestic matters. Okay, so these are all the things that the fourth house represents: home, our inner world, family, and domestic matters. With this placement, you're able to harness power and be powerful as it relates to home, family, and domestic matters. Okay, so whatever Pluto touches, it indicates that we're able to harness power as far as those matters. And the fourth house, again, has to do with home, family, and domestic matters. So you have to tap into that power and, recognize that you're able to harness power and be powerful as it relates to these fourth house matters that have to do with home, family, and domestic matters. There may be some power struggles involving home, family, and domestic matters. Pluto indicates power struggles as well, so a lot of times when people have this placement, they experience power struggles with family members, power struggles within their own home and family environment. You are very powerful internally. Your inner self-talk is powerful and transformative. This is probably the most important part. If you have displacement, understand that you are very powerful internally, and your inner self-talk is very powerful and transformative. How you talk to yourself internally is extremely powerful and will transform you for the good or for, your worse, or it will either work in your favor or it will work against you as far as your inner self-talk. Like if you have negative self-talk, that will work against you and you will bring about negative experiences. If you have positive self-talk, you will bring about positive experiences in your life. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Cancer because Cancer rules the fourth house. Okay, so if you have displacement, make sure you study natal Pluto in Cancer descriptions as well, because you will find that information resonates with you and it sounds like you. Pluto in the fifth house. Let's get into Pluto in the fifth house. Pluto, again, represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. That's what Pluto represents. All things involving power, transformation, chaos, regeneration, and destruction to rebuild. The fifth house is associated with children, creativity, sex, dating, romance, and our hobbies. All things involving creativity, in dating and romance in these Leo-like matters because Leo rules the fifth house. With this placement, you're able to harness power when it comes to matters involving children, creativity, sex, dating, romance, and your hobbies. Whatever house that Pluto falls in, we're able to harness power as far as those matters. And we have to tap into that power, or we just naturally tap into that power. Okay, so the fifth house again has to do with matters involving children, creativity, sex, dating, romance, and your hobbies. So with this placement, you're able to harness power and be powerful as far as these fifth house matters. Matters involving children, creativity, sex, dating, romance, and your hobbies feel transformative. They transform you, okay? Whatever house Pluto falls in, those matters feel transformative for us. They change us. We're never the same as far as dealing with those matters and our experiences as far as those matters, okay? So matters involving children, creativity, sex, dating, romance, and your hobbies feel transformative. They transform you. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Leo, again, because Leo rules the fifth house. So if you have this placement, make sure you study natal Pluto and Leo descriptions as well, because you will find that information resonates with you and it sounds like you. This person has powerful, creative, and competitive power. This is very important. You have to tap into this power. When you have Pluto in the fifth house, you have powerful, creative, and competitive power. You have to be creative. You got to be competitive. This is the placement of someone with a powerful, this is the placement of a powerful and transformative athlete, okay? This is a great placement for an athlete to go on to be a very powerful, transformative athlete, okay? A lot of times you see this in the charts of great athletes because it just makes them so transformative and competitive and creative. Pluto in the sixth house. Let's discuss Pluto in the sixth house. Again, Pluto represents matters involving power, transformation, chaos and regeneration, destruction to rebuild. The sixth house is associated with service, work, pets, daily routine, and our physical health. These are all the things that the sixth house is associated with: service, work, pets, daily routine, and our physical health. With this placement, you're able to harness power as it relates to providing services, work, pets, daily routine, and your physical health, okay? Whatever house Pluto falls in, we're able to harness power as far as those matter. So when it comes to sixth house matters, you're able to harness power and be powerful as far as these matters. You're able to be powerful as it relates to providing services. You're able to be powerful as it relates to your job, dealing with pets and the daily routine and dealing with your physical health. Sixth house matters transform and change you, okay? Whatever Pluto, the house that Pluto falls in, those matters transform us and they change us. They could either transform and change us in a good way or a negative way. But so when you have this placement, sixth house matters transform and change you, whether it be for the good or for the bad. This is similar to having natal Pluto in Virgo because Virgo rules the sixth house. So if you have this placement, make sure you study natal Pluto in Virgo descriptions because you will find that information resonates with you and it sounds like you. This is the placement of someone that harnesses power through taking care of their health, servicing others, and having a healthy routine. All right, so this is very important. This is the placement of someone that harnesses power through taking care of their health, servicing others, and having a healthy daily routine. All right, so that's Pluto from the first house to the sixth house. Thank you for watching. Take care.